All right, so let's talk about a little bit about the grid system that Bootstrap uses. If you go to Bootstrap and start and take a look at some of the examples that they have here. Let me grab this example and I'll display. I'll create it here. So this will be grid, and I'll create Bootstrap, and create an index here. I'll call this large. If I navigate there, this will be grid, bootstrap, large.html. Nope, that's not it. Oh, I never pasted it. Is this using Bootstrap? Oh, okay. I don't know if this is pointing to the right place. I don't believe so. Let me go up I think I need to go up a little further. Vendor. Vendor Bootstrap. Dist. CSS. And then Bootstrap min. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, so by default, this is what it would look like, right? Notice that instead of using my CSS implementation, it's using Bootstrap's implementation. Okay, and the way it's working is that the first one is of size 12, I believe. The second one is also size 12. These two side by side are size 6. Then you have 3 of size 4 each. Right, and then you have 4 of 3 sizes each. And unlike our implementation, this one is responsive, right? So as it becomes smaller and the content doesn't notice that it's the margins are becoming smaller, right? And when I reach a particular threshold, right, if it knows what to do. It says, okay, I don't fit. I don't fit, right? So instead, I'm going to revert to my default block behavior. You see that? And as I become smaller and smaller, it keeps getting skinnier and skinnier up until I reach a threshold, and just behaves in its default behavior of, if I don't fit, I'll just wrap the rest of the content. Right? So this is what we mean by being responsive, right? That the content adapts to the size of the parent container. Right, so that it's always readable even in extremely small devices. Make sense? But someone might feel silly saying, wait a minute, why did it flip so early? Like, why did it flip so early? I still have plenty of space, right? I still would like this to be rendered in columns, right? There's no need to flip to the default block behavior so early. I still have plenty of space, right? So that's why Bootstrap added a little bit more specificity, where you can specify exactly what size screen are you targeting, right? Do you want columns only for large screen, but then no columns when it's smaller than a larger screen? Or do you still want columns in a smaller screen, right? And you can go all the way down to extra small screens. Do you still want columns even in a tiny little bit screen? That's your call. If you think it's appropriate to have 12 columns, in a really tiny screen, by all means, go ahead. All right? But Bootstrap allows you to decide whether you want this or not. Okay? So by using this additional targeting, right? So if I keep going in the other examples here, no, where is it? Your grid large. If you go on down to medium, it's exactly the same content. Let's copy that. Not everything. That's large. I'm going to copy, paste it. I'll do medium. Medium. Copy, and then I'm going to paste it in the medium. But I want this. Okay, so if I now load the medium, notice that it's exactly the same content, but it's a little smarter, right? When it gets to a threshold that it doesn't fit, notice that it decreases the width, but I still have the columns. See that? Right? And the way that this is achieved is by, instead of using the LG nomenclature, we use the MD nomenclature, as I'll show you in a minute. Notice that I have the columns in the large screen. I still have columns for the slightly smaller screen, but then when I reach a threshold below, I go back to just being columns. Make sense? Right? And notice that the only difference between these two examples, right, is that in the large example, we are using columns dash LG. See that? Whereas in the medium, the only difference is that we're using the same exact classes, but it's column MD. See that? Right? This is saying that I still want these columns from the medium screen and above. Right? I want medium. I want the columns, and when the screen sizes are medium size and above. Right? Even larger screens. Right? But not for smaller or extra smaller screens. Okay, and one more example, and this will be, I'm going to copy this, medium, I'll call it small screens, right, and the only difference here, go back, that's not it, this is small screens, so small screens, paste, and I need the bootstrap location, and let me paste it here. So if we load the small screen, small, same exact code, right? And as I become smaller and smaller, notice that it's responsive to medium-sized screens, and I'm keeping the same column layout even for small screens, right? But when I reach extra small screens, it goes back to just blocks. Make sense? Right? And the last example that I wanted to show you is the extra small, which is exactly the same content. Right? Let me copy this. Small, extra small. And let me copy the content and let me paste it. And let me just update the bootstrap reference, so that if I go to extra small, okay, again, it behaves the same way for the medium size, for the small size screen, and even for the extra small. Notice that I keep the columns, right, even for the extra small screens, right? And again, it's your call whether you want to display, you know, such small columns, right, in such a small screen. That's your decision, right? Okay. But just to show that you know, you can use these classes, bootstrap classes, to very easily make things, you know, behave one way or another depending on the size of the screen. Yes, right? Okay. Let's now reuse these ideas, right, on our assignment. Right? Let's do that next.